All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to week number 108. My name is Mr. McLogan, and this is Open Live Q&A. And in tonight's live stream, one of the things I want to talk about is actually how to learn some math on your own. So this is something I have had to do, and it's also something that I'm actually looking forward to. One of the reasons why I wanted to, look into stepping away from the classroom was so therefore I could do more math than was just not restricted inside the classroom. So I'm very super excited to go ahead and talk with you guys about that tonight. I do apologize I usually like to kind of have like a little runway and get things going, but I I had to like restart my computer, get all the software going up. So everything has been delayed on my end. So it's been kind of a little frustrating in that regard, but that is okay. Let's go ahead and get into everything. So hey, Aeroff and Mr. Krabs, hello. um, and Christy, how are you? Good to have you guys on. Jonathan, feel free, guys, if you have any questions, I will be taking some questions, but go to brianmclogan.com/Q&A. That's going to be the fastest and easiest way for me to be able to see your questions. Same thing. Aside, if you can go ahead and take a look at that, that is where I'll be doing it. And what's up, Mohammed? How are you? Hopefully you are doing well, and hopefully everybody's ready for another great week as we are now kind of getting into the second half here of the most, for the school season. So one of the things I know that, this topic might be also a little relevant is for us, a lot of students that, have been having to learn basically on their own, from their teacher. They're maybe not in school. So this might be something that is benefit you for your current circumstance, or also if you just want to be able to expand your learning. That's one of the things that I want to be able to do this for, is to be expanding my, to learn math really on my own, not to be reliant on going back to school, paying tuition, or watching, joining some kind of course online and stuff like that. And then all those are perfectly fine. Like, I have my degree from university. I offer a paid online course. Like, everything is different for every single person. And there's definitely going to be pros and cons for each of those. But, and again, I might go back to university. I might actually buy some more courses. I have no idea what's going to be. But one thing I want to talk about is how you can go ahead and learn some math on your own. In addition to tonight's live stream, just a couple of reminders that if you've never joined a live stream before, I will be doing a Q&A where I will take questions, but don't add them into the chat because a lot of times it gets kind of flustered. I will answer. I saw you on one of the guys on TikTok. Well, awesome. Yeah, I think, definitely. Some of the videos, it's kind of weird on TikTok. So I have my own TikTok channel as well, and I coach some math, and I'm going to be coming up with some new content as well. But a lot of people like kind of say their thank you, on TikTok, and then it'll just like blow up and get like hundreds of thousands and millions of views. And it's crazy. Just crazy how TikTok works like that. But anyways, yes, well, thank you. So anyways, if you guys do have questions, I'm more than happy to be able to answer those questions, but go to brianmclogan.com/Q&A. If I don't get your question, please don't feel offended. I can't get to everybody's question. And then also some questions I'm going to have a better explanation for than others. Or I won't have to like look back up to things. Obviously this is live. This is not recorded. So please also feel free, guys, if you have not joined the Discord server, you can definitely go over there, answer questions. There are people that are designated as tutors. And also I always recommend you guys, it's a community, so you don't have to wait for a tutor. You can answer other students' questions. If you are in calculus and you see somebody posting something in pre-calculus, then answer the question, right? It's all about a community aspect in that regard. It's not just about getting questions answered because, again, it's a give and take, right? And the more I think you can help other students, the more that you can always expect back in return. The other thing I wanted to mention to you guys is so far, this is our third week that we are doing a giveaway. So just remember, if you would like to win a free tutoring with myself, I wanted to get this up as overlay, but I did not have time. So I will just verbally just go ahead and state it for you guys that please feel free, guys, to go to last week's live stream. So if you just go to my channel, go to my go to my content, and you go to last week's live stream, and then all you simply need to do is go ahead and type in math help. And therefore, at the end of tonight's live stream, I will do a giveaway. And it's been pretty cool. The one of the reasons why I'm saying it this way rather than doing a link, because a link is easy, right? Everybody can click on a link and type in math help, right? But there's only so many students that actually are going to like, oh, okay, let me open up another tab, go to his channel, find this live stream link. And because guess what? The last 3 weeks, I've had, I think, 4 students, 6 students, and then 8 students. So if you're looking to like win a giveaway, it's pretty nice when you're only competing against 4, 6, or 8 other students, right? If I gave a link, I'd probably bet there'd be a ton more people would be like, oh, I'll click the link, I'll give it a shot, right? No, it's, put in a little effort in from there, and you can definitely go and you might just get a chance for a free tutoring with myself. All right. So Mr. Krebs says, how can I be more consistent with math? Good question. I think you got to break it up in little chunks and, do something a little bit. Well, thank you, Noah. Hopefully Mo who did the server definitely was not me. He's been on the last couple live streams, so hopefully he will see this, or maybe he's on, and I'm glad you like it. Yeah, it's definitely been a lot easier to navigate and get your questions answered and help out other students with the Discord being the way that it is now. I am doing very well this fine night today, and I was looking into getting a couple more. I was ready. I was really excited actually for tonight because I was like, oh, I'm going to get all these questions because last week I didn't have the questions written down. So I'm like, this week, that's exactly what I'm going to do. And then my eCam, this is what I run my software off of, are the live streams, was like bugging out and I couldn't get it all set up. So I was like, so I had to restart my computer, and then that took forever. And I was like, all right, so literally I barely just got this live stream started. Barely got this on stream. So kind of crazy, but now I'm again, of course, behind the 8 ball, trying to catch up. So answer your questions. But again, just want to remind you guys, if you are joining on, if you have math questions, then go ahead and check out the link in the chat. It's pinned, brianmclogan.com/Q&A. Feel free to go and get some questions there. Also, if you're looking for some more immediate help, or you don't want to wait for help from me, or if I don't get to your question, then you can also go to the Discord server, which is also pinned in the link for you guys there. And then we'll do a drawing at the end of the live stream for anybody that's on that wants to go to last week's live stream and type in #mathhelp. Well, which trig video are you talking about? I'm just kind of curious. RJ, yes, I absolutely can, but go ahead and type in, plug it into the function if you have like some specific examples, would be very helpful rather than just like a vague piecewise functions. I do have quite a bit of questions tonight, so the more specific you can get, the more likely I will be able to actually address your question. That's a good question. How do you get rid of fear in math? That's the only thing holding me back right now. Well, I think on the opposite end of fear and stress and anxiety is action. And so I think I'm going to write that one down. You might see a video coming up from that. So get rid of fear. Interesting question. So I'll answer that question, so you don't have to watch the video. maybe you'll see, but at least the one off the top of my head is that I would think is, you got to get into action, right? If you're just going to think about the reason why you're fearful is, right, you're thinking about what could go wrong, how you how you already got this problem wrong, or how this is going to impact my grade, or, how I don't understand, blah, 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 whatever may be the case. And so the opposite end of that is to do action, like to practice, to put into work, to take the test, like to get moving, right? So the more that you stop and freeze and think about things, the more that fear is going to grow and build and build and build. So you're never going to get rid of that fear unless you do something. And you got to take action. You got to do something. You got to start studying. You got to start asking questions. You got to start the test, right? Whatever your position at that moment in time, but take action, get moving. That is the best possible advice I can give you for on that. And I got to get to, and I haven't talked about how to get back in math. I'll probably start with that, probably around the 9, 10, 9:15. We'll probably get into that. I'll let you guys know. As someone who is weak in math, is that the one? No, this one. I didn't click on it. There you go. As someone who is weak in math, and with the current pandemic, teachers are just slapping modules in my face, and the modules themselves don't even show so they just show the stubborn equation. Yeah, I totally get it. And that's one of the things I want to talk about with the kind of learning math kind of portion, what you guys should be doing and how to kind of do this. Okay. So that's something I will get into this. It's typical. It depends on what you're trying to get out of the Algebra 1 and how much time you're willing to put into it. But it depends on what you mean all of Algebra 1. Like, can you throw all the content together? Sure, absolutely. Can you learn just exactly what you need for the next step? Sure, absolutely. Can you learn everything and be sufficient to pass like a general test? Maybe, maybe not. Like it's all it's a very broad actually question, right? On what you mean actually learn all of algebra 1, and what do you mean like, and what does learn really mean? Like just for what you need for the next test to actually just understand it to, so, but I would say sure. I would definitely write down the trig identities. I always put them on a cheat sheet and I just would study them and work them out. Like I never studied them. I every year I'd kind of like forget them a little bit or have to remember them, but I would just work through the problems. And, I always told my students they have cheat sheets. I never made my students remember them. I always gave them to them. So I'm not one to like force my students to memorize things, but none of my students really needed them. I mean, we did so much practice that they basically had them memorized by the time we took the test. That's at least that was always my goal. I mean, talk to your teacher, to ask your teacher. I mean, if your teacher understands, here's a good piece of advice I can give you. If your teacher feels that you are doing what you need to do the best you can in their class, more likely than not, they're going to want to reciprocate that, right? If they see that you are not like sucking up to them, not, whatever, but you are genuinely want to improve your grade and you're trying to do what you can to improve, and ask them, how can I improve my grade? How can I be better in your class? How can I, learn more? Like, most teachers, right, that at least I am aware of that I've known are going to want to help you and figure that out for you. So, not all teachers, I think, is, against you, or if they or don't want you to succeed. Teachers want students to succeed. They want you to be successful in the class, right? And again, holding somebody accountable does not mean, or having high standards does not mean that you don't want somebody to be successful. So ask them, see what you need to do for that to be able to happen. Eddie, we will get to plenty of questions. Again, if you have a question, go ahead and put it into brianmclogan.com/Q&A. Thought I had there. All right. Hey, Mark, how are you? Good to have you on. There we go. Okay, perfect. Greg says, for self-started program, would you agree that it's the best to start with discrete math and focus on proofs before doing algebra and geometry? I'm not sure if you need to get on proofs before. I mean, it really depends on where you're trying to go with all of that. I think having some basic algebra and geometry can be very helpful as you get into proofs. I think discrete math is definitely something I think would be a good kind of starting point, doing some discrete math and then obviously get into algebra. But I'd probably, like a lot of proofs, at least when I remember learning how to write proofs, you had to have basic understanding of algebra and geometry, because those are a lot of times what we use the proofs for. Writing different types of proofs, but you had to have a basic, understanding of those math concepts. So I would definitely, look into discrete math, looking into doing the algebra geometry, and then look into proofs and beyond. 24 trig functions. Yep, I know. I remember that was a fun test. That was a fun one to make. Well, and then I'll ask you, did you read the modules? And again, you could say, hey, yes, I did, and it didn't make sense. And it's like, all right, well, then ask those questions. Like, how did that conversation go? What did you say? Did you read the modules? And if you did, like, did you have questions? Did you understand everything? Like where is the break here on what you're understanding, what you're not, where the grade is and everything like this. Please go ahead and post a question and I'll try to get into math here in just a little bit. I have a lot. I mean, I'll do another, I like that title though. I like that title. That's a good title to go through on that. I don't really use a study. I mean, I just create a cheat sheet and then study off that cheat sheet. So what I would talk about is doing some self-study. That basically, which I'm going to talk about from on out, is doing kind of some self-study. Okay. Well, hey, Christy, thank you so much for the super chat. How do you fully understand the concept with math? So that will actually talk about what I'm going to get into on this. So I'll definitely address this. Depends on what is being taught, but yeah, I think a lot of the math that we teach is outdated and doesn't really need to be taught. And we force for students to graduate high school based on them learning that. So yes to a lot of that question from on there. We'll talk about that. All right, look at these. Okay. Shrina, can you give me some advice? How do I deal with hesitation in math? I'm not that sure if I can continue it in my college and studying. My hesitation in math. How do you get motivated to study for math? I find it hard to get excited about the math concepts. I did a video on like how to get motivated. Maybe that might be able to help you out from in there. I hope so. I'm not really sure, but yeah, I'd go and test that out. As far as your hesitation, same kind of thing, like with fear, I'll just say you got to do the problems, do the work, like get moving, take action. All right. So, my cheat sheet. So when I do a cheat sheet, I do all the formulas. I do all, a lot of example problems, problems that are difficult, problems that maybe I want to like use. So basically what I used to do is, and I'm going to make a video on this, like how to create a cheat sheet. And the reason why I'm creating the cheat sheet, I used to have them, I probably do have some students, but I'd create the cheat sheet. I'd write down all the formulas, all the definitions. I would write down problems that were difficult, right? And like problems that, I wanted to remember how to do, or a process or a theorems or anything like that. And then I used to give it to my students. And the reason why I used to give it to my students is because one, students, when I didn't give it to them, they didn't really do good cheat sheets, right? And then I said, hey guys, you can use this on your test. So then students went crazy and they created like awesome cheat sheets. But what was really awesome about it was like when you spend an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours creating a cheat sheet, I mean, you just spent 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours studying for your test. It's an amazing exercise to prepare for a test. And it's not something you can like cheat either. Like I could tell when a student spent hours on it, and I could tell when a student spent 10 minutes on it, right? Writing all that stuff down takes a lot of time. And also the best part about it was I didn't really see a great, obviously there were students that grades were much better for when they like put in a lot of work. But the amazing thing is like students are like, oh, I can just copy somebody else's cheat sheet and I'll have that for my test. They didn't do any better on my test. So I just made it a standard practice. Students that actually put in the work, they did better on my test. Students that just tried to like get by or copy somebody's cheat sheets, they did just as well. I've had students fail my test over and over and they still had cheat sheets, right? And so yeah, it's all about putting in the process. It's not about actually having the content in front of you. So it all depends on students who do homework. I mean, homework was not required in my class. The way that I assigned, so I would allow students to do homework, but actually it was required in my class. How did I used to do that? Now I'm kind of forgetting. The COVID pandemic kind of like messed everything up. No, actually I did have homework required, but it has to be relevant. You just can't give students like tons of problems and like thing, but my homework was relevant. But it was a very small percentage of your grade. So if you decided not to do your homework, you weren't going to like fail my class, but if you didn't do your homework, then you weren't going to get like test corrections, or I wasn't going to give you a retakes or anything like that. Like that was the number one thing you had to do, was do your homework if you wanted any other ways to be able to get improved. All right, I got to go and get into this. I really want to talk to a teacher about my math mark and how to do better in class. How should I approach? Just go and talk. A lot of teachers are very open to hearing from you and seeing, what they can do to be able to help you out. So I would just reach out to your teacher and say, how can I help myself? How can I improve my grade? Why is math not as enjoyable anymore? I used to enjoy it back in 9th, 10th grade, and satisfaction I felt getting the correct answer was so addicting. Now I don't feel the same anymore. Yeah. And I think that's partially a lot with how we teach math, nowadays. And what we expect students, the kind of track that we kind of push everybody to. And I wish we had an easy answer that I could tell you from there, but it's, it's difficult. I think we push students, and I think there's a lot of stress too for students. Like I can't remember, I was going to talk about a video the other day, and I was, I was scripting out a video, and I was thinking about I was talking about how to prepare for a test, kind of like that one, or like what to do the night before the test. And I was like, get a good night's rest. And I remember when I was in high school, I specifically remember I went for the ACT. I had the ACT on Saturday. And I remember I was at like a party, a friend's party on like Friday night. And, I just remember staying up till like midnight or 11. I don't know, whenever. I can't remember if I was 18, had curfew or not. But I just remember staying up, and I remember I got a horrible night's rest, and I just took the ACT, and I didn't care. Like that was just my mindset. I was already accepted in the college I wanted to go to, or maybe it was early, maybe it was junior. I don't know. But I just remember like, it wasn't as stressful for me, and now teaching high school, so many years later, I mean, it's like a huge deal. I probably, like, if I was taking high school now, there's no way I probably would have been able to, do something. It was like it's a very, very serious. People have a lot of stress over how they're going to be taking, how they're going to do in these tests and stuff like that. So I think a little bit kind of plays into that, this stress and this competition, that everybody thinks you have to have these perfect grades and to be a perfect student and stuff like that, which is not about mathematics. As you mentioned, like the getting the problem right, like that's a great addicting thing from there. And that's where a lot of math should be about, right? It should not be, all about this. You have to understand this. You have to always have 100% or you're not going to be smart. You're not going to go to the best college and blah, 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 blah. So crazy. Anyways. All right. So let's go and get into the last couple things. So, I am going to talk, I still haven't even talked about it. I've just been saying hi and everything else, you guys. So let's go ahead and get into, the, what can you do for self-study? All right. So that is the name for on here. And, let me get that up. So how to go and get into the self-study. And I just want to remind you guys, if you do have some math questions, feel free to go ahead and go to brianmclogan.com/Q&A. That's where you guys can submit those questions. I'll try to get to as many math questions as I possibly can for tonight, but also please go ahead and join the Discord server, which is also linked in the description, it's also in the description as well as in the live chat. And then if you want to go ahead and enter into the giveaway for free tutoring with myself, then go over to last week's live stream and then go ahead and type in hashtag, I'll type it into this chat, hashtag math help. But no, I'm not going to go ahead and send you guys a link. You guys are definitely able to go over to last week's live stream and type it in from there. I'm an adult trying to learn trig. Most of the videos are for college level. I need introduction though. Can't access it on YouTube because they have it only for kids. That's weird. Not really sure. Yes, all right, Discord. The Discord link is in there. I'm not really sure from there, but let me go and get into so let's go and talk about the self-study. I mean, the only thing is I have trig videos and stuff like that. Do multiple tests for different advanced classes. I think you just have to space things out. You have to plan ahead. Don't be trying to take multiple tests in these. Mary, I have a ton of videos on basic stuff on trig. Ton of videos. I don't have time right now to go and link in my playlist, but if you go to my channel and just type in, go to like my trig playlist, I have a ton of basic stuff, and also going to be working on some other more videos for you on that. Okay. But yeah, I definitely have a ton of trig videos, like the basics, the unit circle, special right triangles, and trigonometry and stuff like that. I have a ton for you as well. All right. Or a ton of those videos. So let's go ahead and talk about the, no, you have to go on last week's live stream. Last week's live stream, not this chat. This is not going to submit you into the chatter. Okay, so I am not going to answer any more questions for you guys, for at least for the chat. But if you guys do have some math questions, go ahead and submit them in there. And Eric, I can definitely say hi, Ryan. Hi, Ryan. All right, so that's so weird how it's changed on to subscribers. All right, cool. Well, absolutely very help you out, Brenton. Practice. Best way to study. Practice. Get a cheat sheet, create a cheat sheet, write down all the formulas, write down everything on a cheat sheet, sheet of paper. That is the best way to absolutely study. Okay, so how do you self-study for math? So here's a couple things that I have that has worked for me because I've done it before, and also some things that I'm going to be doing. The first thing is get a math textbook. Now I know, hold on to me. I know a lot of you guys have gone through the education system where you're just learning from a teacher or whatever else, but get a math book. I think it's extremely important to have not just one math book, but get like at least a second one and maybe even a third one. Because here's the deal. I am a owner, and if I turn my camera over here, I have shelves of some math books, right? And I think one of the really important thing that I have learned as far as being a teacher is not just relying on one textbook. You don't want to rely on one professor or doctor's, doctor of whatever degree, how he wrote in the text. You don't want to just rely on that one because everybody is going to approach the exact same content differently. So even though you might be looking at, whatever, pre-calculus, a lot of the pre-calculus, like 3 different texts, they all approach a lot of the same topics and everything, but differently. Some are much more advanced. Some are a little bit more too basic. Some have different problems. Like even the problem sets are not the same. You're not always going to be doing the same problems. So I think it's really, really, really important to have that kind of compare and contrast when you're trying to learn. And the other reason why I think a textbook is really, really important is because, one, obviously you have that standard learning of where like you read a textbook just like you would read any other book. You start at the chapter, right? Look through the examples, right? And you have practice problems from there. Now, I have an online course, right? If you want to learn pre-calculus from beginning to end, like I have a course that is designed for those students to be able to do. However, there's certain things that I'm not against online courses, obviously. Thank you so much, Chrissy. I think when you're trying to self-learn something, I would not, I think, fully rely on just an online course. I think it's really important to have a kind of a textbook. And here's another thing that I think is also important. When you are trying to self-learn, I think it's really important to always not, to kind of go through that learning process. And one of the things about that learning process is a little bit of that struggle, right? And it's a little bit of making those jumps, those connections and everything else. And looking through, some of those problems and seeing how everything is presented, and then practicing those problems, because the problems that rely on them. And again, I've never seen an online text that has so many example problems, right? Than more like a text. But I think you need to be able to make those jumps from the content, and then also be able to practice them. Now, what I am fully for is online videos, like obviously on YouTube, or having online courses, or anything else, to a lot of times fill in those gaps. Because if you're trying to self-learn just through a textbook, you're going to have questions. You're going to have, why did they do this? Or how do I do that? Or what were they really trying to understand or explain in this concept? That's where I think it's really important to have that teacher, to have a tutor, to have online videos that you can rely on, or even to be involved into an online course. To be honest with you, if I was going to, let's just say I'm going to go back and go back through my calculus series, right? So I've taught calculus, multiple years. I took calculus and everything else. And let's say I want to go back and just relearn calculus. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some calculus books and I'm going to kind of work through them. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight what I don't understand or where I'm struggling. And that's where I'm going to look for different additional resources, right? But I really think this power of learning, this idea of like your brain, it's kind of like working out, right? If you're just constantly working out, and here's the other thing that I mentioned that I think is important. If you're just working out, right, and you're always doing the same weights and it's not really like that kind of struggle, you're not going to get any stronger. And that's the same thing like when you're reading a textbook and you're trying to understand the content and going through things, it might be a little slower. It might be a little bit more difficult, but you're going to conceptually understand the content, in my opinion, more than just by watching some math videos that you might see. The other thing, the difference is, if the same thing we always say, like, it's like the doer, it's like the doer or the watcher. Like when you watch a movie, you're passive. You're not actually engaging in the content. But when you're reading through a textbook and you're doing the math problems, you're active, you're doing the stuff. And that's going to hold that material deeper into your understanding than if you were just to sit there and watch a video. And again, trust me, I have watched a ton of math tutorials online or in just other tutorials. And a lot of times you can understand things, you're writing down notes and everything like that. But it's that whole idea is like, are you sitting in the front row or are you sitting in the back row? When you're sitting in the front row of a class, you are engaged, you're doing the work. When you're sitting in the back row, maybe you're reclined, right? And you might understand the work. You might understand, I've had this happen all the time. Like I'm writing down notes. I'm like, oh, this is making sense. Oh, I love this teacher. I understand everything. And then, but since you weren't like actively engaged, a day, a week, a month can go by and you've completely forgot everything. You look at your notes and I'm like, I don't even remember what these notes are about or what was going on. However, if you've worked through like a text and you've worked through those problems, and then you've had to struggle and you've had to understand, why did they do that work? Like what does this theorem mean? And you look for some different contexts, you're going to remember everything that you went through on that. So it's more of like a slow and steady approach rather than like, I think student asks, like, can I just learn algebra 1 in a month? Like, yeah, I guess you can. You know, what are you trying to learn about algebra 1, or what do you need to learn from that? You know, if you don't know anything about algebra and you need to you need algebra 1 to move on to the next one, well, I mean, I guess you can cram it into, but are you going to remember it? You know, probably not. I mean, maybe if you put in all the work, but yeah, you know, it's like, it's the same thing. I mean, when you're putting in this course, I mean, it's going to take time. So I think the best thing is to understand when you're trying to do self-study, you have to be actively doing the work. Do not just rely on videos. Do not just rely on somebody, you know, to be sitting there watching do it. Because I think that's a hard part. That's why a lot of people are like, I don't want to do homework. Why is homework still a part? You know, the debate, is homework necessary? It all depends. When homework is reasonable, when it's like applied to what you need to be learning and doing, it's going to reinforce your understanding. It's going to reinforce your skills. And when you're trying to self-learn, the last thing you probably want to be doing is practice problems. The last thing you probably want to be doing is struggling with understanding the material, right? If you think about it, if I want to learn calculus really quickly, I just wanted to learn as fast as I can, right? As easy as I can. That's the natural human instinct. However, I am here to tell you, if you are trying to self-learn, the best thing that I want you to be able to do, if you really want to understand the material and get the most out of it, would be to get a couple textbooks, right? Because again, you don't want to rely on one professor, how he taught. You don't want to look at, or how she taught. You know, you want to be able to compare their notes, the problem sets that they use, and then also you want to go through the flow of what they use, the content and their problems. And there's going to be things you're going to not understand. Use another online course. Use some math videos to go and work through that. But make sure you're doing those problems. I think it's also important to schedule the time, right? When I start doing my course, I'm gonna set aside, kind of like I'm going back to school. But rather than driving to my local university, I'm just gonna say, all right, for the next hour and a half, here's what I'm going to be studying, and I'll be, you know, doing some math problems, all right, and you know, watching some videos and everything like that. So I think it's really important to set that time, study, and then stay consistent with all of it like that. So hopefully that was helpful for you guys. If you have any questions on that, feel free to always go ahead and add that in, or add any questions into the chat, and I'll be more than happy to help them out. Otherwise, I'll probably get into some math questions that you guys can go ahead and submit. Again, those math questions you guys can go ahead and submit to brianmclogan.com/Q&A. See if I got some more math questions. I've always thought about doing a podcast. I don't know. I've always been hesitant on that, but you know, who knows? Well, you're very welcome. Happy to be able to help you out. You do a podcast. Good idea. I'm gonna have to start thinking about some things like this. See, Dennis, that's one of my things, like linear algebra. I have not taken linear algebra or done anything in linear algebra since I was in college. And I want to go back to that. I want to make some videos on linear algebra, right? But I'm going to have to self-learn now. I'm not going to re-enroll back into my university. I'm not just going to rely on videos on YouTube or like an online course. I'm going to do all three. Like, I'm going to purchase some linear algebra books, and I'm going to practice the linear algebra. And I'm going to, you know, probably then also use some videos to like support my understanding or where I'm struggling with the like explanations and understanding from on there. So this is exactly what, you know, it's exactly what I want to be able to do. And that's one of the reasons why I stepped away from the classroom, because I was just so used to, you know, teaching the same content, same material. But I think it's really important, you know, and the same thing, like even my online pre-calculus class, it's a lot of students will start the class, but guess what? When you don't have to put in the work, right? So like I have a ton of like practice examples. I have a ton of like content to learn. But if you don't have to put in the work and then you get busy or the going gets tough and you're like, I'll just give up on it, right? It's so easy to give up on something like with an online class. But I think when you really have kind of invested in, you know, working through a curriculum with a math text, I think it's much, you know, kind of that same thing. Like when somebody mentioned, like, I was so happy when I get the problems right. Like, I think you get there's much more of a pride of like going through working a textbook, right? And again, like math videos, math courses, they can support your answers. There's online websites that are amazing to help refine what you're doing, what you're understanding, but it's not going to be just something that's easy that you can do in a week and then it's like, now you're a superstar, right? You got to put in the work, and there's no way to really sugarcoat or jump over the work that needs to be done. And it's going to take problems. It's going to take practice, and there's going to be some struggles, and that's okay. That's a part of the learning process. Don't forget that. Yeah, exactly. You know, not everything is just given to you, right? I mean, it's not just pay tuition and like, here you go. Like you have to put in the work, and you have to sometimes, do a lot of learning on your own. Yes, I know. I want to get into some linear algebra. Once you start studying for a test, like actually, I've been having this problem since middle school, and I always end up studying at like 9 p.m. the night before the test. I mean, in my opinion, I think you should always be studying for your tests. So now, truth, I never did this as I was a student, at least a high school student. Probably in college, definitely a little bit more. But when I was in high school, never always to study for a test. But what I used to tell my students though is that's why I started creating cheat sheet. Like when we would do math homework, and like actually this happened for one time when I was a student, I was like, wow, it's a really good idea. I never told her to do it, and she did it. She just started doing it. But so what she'd do is, since I allowed them to use a cheat sheet on their test, she would have her cheat sheet with her. And she would just be, she'd take down notes, and then she'd also add in special things onto her cheat sheet, because I mean, they'd have a full sheet of paper, like front and back, they could use. And what I would recommend, the reason why I like the cheat sheet idea is because that's a great way to just spend like 10 minutes reviewing stuff, right? Because when you're studying for a test, there's different ways to study, right? There's practicing studying, right? That's like going back through your old tests, your old quizzes, your old homework, a study guide, right? There's actually doing math problems to study. And then there's also just reviewing, right? Reviewing the concepts, reviewing the problems and everything else. That's why I like the cheat sheet. So like you can review like those theorems, you can review those definitions, you can review, like put on the cheat sheet, put a problem that was very difficult or a very essential problem, like write down, do the steps, just like take the example from your notes and write it down in your cheat sheet. And then if you can spend 5-10 minutes every single day just doing something to review, maybe reworking your homework problems that you got right or you got wrong, reworking your quiz problems that you got. Like I used to do this in college all the time. I would, every single thing that I got wrong, every single thing, I would always redo it and fix it and make sure I did it right. And I'd even practice doing it right. Right. So let's say I got a problem wrong on my quiz, though I'd get the correct answer, make sure you correct answer, make sure I understand it. And then I'd practice doing it because I never got the problem right. I got it wrong on the quiz. So I would go over, I'd do that problem. I'd write it. I'd cover up the answer, and I'd try doing it out on my own. Because here's the thing about like the muscle memory, guys. If you can't if your only way of getting the problem right is like envisioning you're going to get it right, that's not enough. You have to actually go through it. Like it's the same thing. Like if you're in a car and you're driving, right? And 5 days a week, you're always driving to school. And then Saturday comes around, right? And you get on the highway and you get off the same exit, like you're going to school or whatever may be the case. Like you have that muscle memory trained. So same thing, like when you get a problem wrong, do the problem right and practice doing it right. So I think it's really important. Yeah. Problem wrong. Problem right. All right. I do have a good, what was that one textbook? Do I have that one over there? I was thinking about a do pre-calculus booklet. I never taught out of it, but I did like it. I don't know. Oh no, it's in my other room. I don't remember who the author was. Well, I would definitely recommend looking into the Discord server or having something else, where there's obviously you can do a lot of, Discord, my Discord server, and there's other Discord servers too that are well. And then also or like forums or whatever else. If you have questions, and that's the thing, like when you self-study, it's difficult because you don't have anybody else with you. You don't have somebody to guide you. Right. So you have to be able to find somewhere where you can get help. And that could be with a tutor. That could be with like somebody or a study group. That could be with like a community, like a Discord server or a forum, like on Reddit or something like that. It could, it could be online videos. It could be an online course, but you need to find something where you can get the help. But I still like that idea of working through those struggles. What is your opinion on schools using laptops only to do math versus books? So That's difficult. It's like saying, what about like taking away paper? It's like that's like, look at me. Like, do I have online notes? Of course I do, right? Do I have phone in my notes? Can I use Siri? Yes, right? But again, still like, this was how my brain works. And then also this is like how I think a lot of times, like I work best when I'm flowing with up. It's not typing, right? It's not talking to Siri. It's physically writing down things. So, I mean, I love laptops. I love tablets and for their ease of use, their flexibility, and what they'd be able to do, and for like the cost savings as well. So I don't think we're gonna get away from that, right? I mean, books are expensive, and especially like the only way that books can get cheaper, or the only way the authors may, well, they just keep on coming with new editions, right? And it's like that's very very expensive for districts. They keep on purchasing all this stuff. So. And again, that cost just keeps on pushed down, right? Or, pushed down to the student. So I think there is something important about the book learning, compared to like a laptop or just on tablets. But I don't know if it's how much outweighs the cost and the ease of use that you're going to get with like technology and so forth on there. So, I think, yeah, I think some students do better with like online note taking. Like a lot of students I know, like they just prefer online note taking and like copying it, sending it, printing it, boom, boom, boom. So I think it's, I don't know. I haven't thought long and hard enough about it. I'm kind of back and forth on that one. No, I think there's way too much AB content that's used in BC that you're going to want and need. I mean, I guess you could, but I don't think I'd see many teachers, at least in our BC content, they would go through the AB content like very quickly. So I mean, again, if you're a very, very strong math student and you feel like it's a waste of your time, then, and again, we always taught AB was like, we didn't teach AB and then BC. So it was either you did AB or you did BC, because the BC would include the AB material. So I guess it's a little bit different. It just depends on how your school teaches it. I mean, just like how we remember names, like I would think about little things that you can like memorize, for the formulas and stuff like that. I never made my students memorize formulas. I always gave them the cheat sheet to write them down. So I don't really have a lot of tips and everything for that. How rigorous should I self-teach to? Oh my God, I got to do some math. How rigorous should I self-teach to? I mean, it depends on what you're trying to get out of it, right? Are you self-teaching because you want to, learn the material? Then I would probably say just do as much until you feel like you've learned it. Are you trying to self-teach because you're trying to like actually like get credit, to take another class and everything like that? Well, then you might need to, make sure that you challenge yourself pretty difficult. So it really kind of depends on where you're at. Awesome. Your teacher expect you. Well, thank you, Spicy Tomato. How long should you study before the midterm? I would definitely at least break out like 2 weeks at a minimum. And again, midterms are tough because you have other classes, right? It's not just about your one class. So, but I think at least 2 weeks in, you should start getting a game plan and doing like 20, 30 minutes every day practicing, because the last two nights before your test, you should be doing a lot of math. All right, guys, I need to get into some math questions. And then remember, we also have a giveaway. Last week's live stream. You guys can go and type in hashtag math help to go and do a giveaway. So I don't know how many questions. Oh God, what are you guys doing to me? All right. I don't think we're going to get to all these questions. This is crazy, but let's go and see what we have. A lot of you guys went to the link. That's good. Thank you. So I'm not going to get to all these questions because I'm going to shut off at 10 o'clock. But what I will say, ladies and gentlemen, is I will go ahead and do we will do the giveaway definitely by tonight. So if I don't get to your question, please go ahead and make sure you answer a question in Discord, or you can wait till next week and I'll go over it then. All right. I'm not going to probably get into everybody's question anyways. So let's go and see how many you can do. All right. I don't know that. I'll have to go back over that topic. I don't remember that. I'd have to go back and review. So a lot of the problems that I'm looking at, like if I don't remember going back over through the problem, I'm not going to like describe this. Now we can go some congruency. That's kind of fun. It's been a while since I did those. Do a congruency problem with you guys. All right, let's see what we got here. So this problem, let me go and change. There you go. Oh, come on. All right, the question says is which of these triangles are going to be congruent? And then do we need to state the congruency? If they're not congruent, select not congruent. Okay. All right, so the first one is, it's important to recognize here that these two sides, come on, what's going on? I got it. Okay, there you go. So what we have is angle, angle, side, angle, angle, side. So yes, angle, angle, side, those are going to be congruent. So remember the congruency statements are going to be angle, angle, side. We have side, angle, side, angle, side, angle. And then we have the side, side, side. And then we have the one that spells the bad word, side, side, angle. That does not work. Angle, 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 that does not work. However, we do have side, side, angle, and then what we call the HL, hypotenuse leg theorem. And that's going to be when our angle is actually 90 degrees, then it does work. What types of ways could I focus better to be good at note-taking? Note-taking, that's a good one. All right. So this one is going to be angle, side, side. So that's going to be HL, right? So it's side, side, angle. So that's side, side, angle. And that is HL. So again, the HL theorem, this only works, side, side, angle only works is when this is 90 degrees. So that is congruent. Here, it looks like we have angle, angle, right? Those look like the same. They're going to be split. And then we have this side length here. However, I don't have enough information about anything else to confirm that these are going to be. So these are going to be not congruent. Looks like they could be, but don't have enough information. And then here I have side, side, side. So therefore, these are going to be congruent. So that works. All right, let's see. Next question we have here. Multiple questions. Questions not coming in. So we'll get this. I'm not sure if I know the answer to your question. Should I do Calc AB or CD after pre-calc? I have the option for slow or fast. Hard decision to make since we are considering. Yeah, I mean it all depends. I can't. My answer cannot be your deciding factor. You got to talk to your parents. You got to talk to your counselor. You got to talk to your math teacher. And probably your math teacher is probably the most important because they can at least advise you on where you kind of stand and your likelihood of like, yeah, being successful in AB or in BC. So talk to those teachers. If they're not the same, talk to the AB teacher, talk to the BC teacher. Again, it depends on also where do you want to go? Like what college do you want to go to? Do they even accept the AP scores, right? Will they give you credit for that? Are you going into engineering? Are you going into computer science? Are you going into nursing? Like it all depends on what you're trying to achieve, what you're going through. So, that's where the counselor can help you out with. And also the parents, can help you out with. So there's a lot of variables and it's all dependent on what you're trying to achieve, where you currently stand and, what resources and everything else is available to you. So it's a lot. So, all right, your other question didn't come through. So unfortunately, we just got to delete it and move on. I don't know how to solve this problem. Those are always good. Looks like the same one. See if I... Oh, those are congruent to each other. Oh, okay. I think we can do that. Yeah, that or I'll make a fool of myself, but that's okay. I guess you guys would always... There was a couple times back in the day when I first used my live streams, I used to just take the live Q&As like from the back or from the chat, and I'd be like, oh, I can do this problem. And then I'd get myself confused so many times. And I was like, all right, this is probably not the best look if you're just always constantly getting confused from questions. But again, like, to my defense, one, it's a live stream, so it's a lot different. And I wasn't used to doing live streams. Now live streams are a little bit, you know, I don't really think of them as like people being online and actually watching me do math or watching me think. And back in the day, it was much more like nerve-wracking, right? Doing a live stream. And then the other thing too is like a lot of people's math, like, you know, you teach one way, you're not always used to the way like a lot of problems. Like I'd see a problem like, oh, I know how to do this. And then I'd be like, oh, actually, I don't know what it's really asking, or I need to like review or think about some things. All right, so let's go and take a look at this problem. So this problem says that, so given triangle PHS is congruent to triangle CNF, solve for X, Y, and Z. Okay. So actually expand this a little bit. Okay, so the important thing here that I see with this is P is congruent to C, right? Because we always, the important thing is that's the one important thing is always saying things in order. So we know those are going to be congruent to each other. So therefore I can say 36 degrees is equal to a 3y minus 1. So therefore just solve for y. So I'll add a 1. 37 equals a 3y, right? P and C. That's not C. That's C. Oops. See, here we go. Making mistakes already. So P is equal to C, right? P is congruent to C. So 36 degrees is equal to a 4z minus a 32. There you go. That looks better. Add a 32. That's going to be a 68 equals a 4z. Divide by 4. Divide by 4. Let's see. That's going to be 10. Left over 28, which would be 7. So 20. Wait, that'd be 10, 27. So that's going to be what? 30? No. All right, let's just do it this way. Now my brain's already here. And so 34, that's 17. Whew, okay. C equals a 17 degrees. What time, I guess? Not much time. All right. Let's go into Y. So the next one is H is going to be congruent to N. So H is congruent to N, right? So therefore I can say 6x minus 29 degrees is equal to 115 degrees. All right, so I can add a 29, add 29. So 6x is equal to, that's going to be a 30, so 40, so equals 144. Let's see, if I did that by 20, that would be 120, and then that'd be 24. So it'd be 20. My brain is already hurting. I should be do that 20 and then another 24, which would be 4. So 24, right? Divided by 6, divided by 6. X equals a 24. I've been talking for like so too long. I'm just going to use my calculator and cheat just to make sure that I'm not making a fool of myself. Yep, I got that one right. And the last one, we could add all these add up to 180. Or we can look at this and we say, oh yeah, we don't have this one, right? So if we have these 2 degrees, now again, so we don't know what S is, right? We don't have a solution. We know S is congruent to F, but that's F. We don't know what Y is. So what we could do here is I can go ahead and plug in X into this equation. So I have a 6 times X minus a 29, right? So what that's going to give me is, and that's a 6 times what? 24 minus 29. 6 times 24, what would we say that was? That's going to be 144 minus 29. Oh, that's going to be 115. So what does that equal to? Sorry, that's equal to H, right? Did I already know this? I'm an idiot. That's already equal to that. Why am I doing all that work? Forget that. Okay, so now N is equal to H, right? N is congruent to H. So therefore, 115 degrees, we actually didn't even know to do this. I was actually wasting my time. Why did oh, we need to solve for x and h anyways. But now we need to solve for y. So now what I'll do is I'll say, well, then this is the same thing as y, right? So f is congruent to s. So now that's the same thing as y. So what I can say is 36 degrees plus 115 degrees plus y equals 180 degrees. So now these are going to add up. So that's going to be what, a 40, so 151 degrees, right? Yeah, I think my brain hurts. Why am I doing math? Why are you guys making me do this stuff? Should we go into bed? Why am I up here doing this? So what, that's going to be 29 degrees. Y equals 29 degrees. So there you go. Hopefully that was helpful. I got a lot of questions. What do? You've helped me a lot late. I studied for a math the day after. Wish me luck on math test. You definitely got this. Good luck. Yeah, I think the app is very helpful for that as well. Well, thank you, Matt. Pure character. Well, thank you so much for that. I greatly appreciate it. All right, let's go and see. Just a reminder, guys, I will probably at 10 o'clock, I'm going to do my math. So let's just do one more math problem. Sorry, guys, I got way behind, way too much talking on this one. But that's okay. We'll get to some of these questions here next time. So, how do I solve this problem? We did your problem. Y is not 29. All right, what did I do wrong? How long did it take me to master pre-calculus? I don't know. Quite a bit. Y is not 29. I don't know. What did I not do? Do these not add up? X, Y, and Z. That's going to be 115. Show me where my mistake is, please. And I'll fix it. Oh, that was the second question. Well, you just get one question. I'm asking multiple questions. Actually, I have an exam coming up on trigs to prove identities or just regular equations. That doesn't look like fun at all. I'll maybe work that one out if I have time tomorrow or time for next week, but I'm not gonna be able to get to that one. Let's see here. Noah, wish you luck, man. You got this. Hi, Brian. Can we hear lives in well, very well, awesome. I do apologize though that I already have like a huge backlog of questions. So I'm not gonna be able to get to any other additional questions on the stream. So I do apologize for that. Yeah, I mean, check. I mean, there's my work. Unless you guys see anything, feel free to let me know. And again, I'm doing everything my brain hurts. So use the difference quotient to determine the equation. I just don't have time to do that. That's a lot. It's not really a difficult problem, but I'll maybe come back to that later. I just want something simple. You guys have anything simple? TQ. Or just something that doesn't want to work. My brain hurts. I think I might just have to end it anyways. We got to do our survey. We got to do our giveaway though. All right, guys. I apologize. I know a lot of you guys sent in questions. I'm going to have to get to them next week. But again, also, if I didn't get your question, which a lot of you I didn't. Ooh. I don't know. I never took trigonometry. Trigonometry was inside my pre-calculus course. So that's basically nice. Well, awesome. Good to have you. High school arm wrestling league. Nice. So I don't bench a lot. The last time I benched was not too long ago. I didn't max out at all, but I was able to. I don't bench a lot, like less than 200 or no, around 200. No, that was 135. I think the last one I benched, I've never maxed out my bench. I haven't done that in a while because I've hurt my shoulder and I don't want to max out my bench. But I think the most I benched out would be 185. And that was just going through there. But I'm a very hesitant on I have a bad back, I have a bad shoulder, so I don't do a lot of maxes. it's okay to continue college. I mean, guys, why are you asking me these questions? And I don't mean that as a bad way, because that's a great question, but it's there's so many factors. I don't want you to take my answer at face value, because it shouldn't be taken at face values. Talk to your parents, your finances, talk to your professors, talk to your guidance counselors. There's so many things that need to be taken into consideration on, and what do you want to do, right? Is college the right decision for you? I know that's a very difficult question for you to answer. But I mean, there's a lot of things you need to consider and look into on that. Just to help people, thought it would be cool, like when students didn't go to class. I mean, this was back in 2010, so it's kind of crazy. But yeah, just to record videos, and then people could watch them if they missed class, like the good old days. No, not exactly. We can use the limits as far as our derivative definition, but no, not exactly. I teach math. Can you help me some? All right, let's go ahead and get into the giveaway for this. So again, this giveaway is going to be from last week's live stream. So if you did not already go to last week's live stream, you guys better hurry up and do that like right now, and then type in math help there. Don't type in math help here. Go over to that last week's live stream and go and do that. Well, awesome. Very to help you out. And big thanks for Florida. Well, I'm in Florida as well. Happy to help you. So go to last week's live stream and then type in hashtag math help, and we'll do some free giveaway for tutoring. But I meant to go ahead and have that open for you guys. Apologies, didn't have that done. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take everybody in. Again, like everything I think there's only 8 people that did it last live stream. So it's been pretty awesome. I mean, low competition if that is something you are interested in doing. And I do apologize, guys, I'm not gonna be able to get your questions. But again, that is one of the reasons why I started the Discord server. So therefore students could get help with their math. So please, let's go to this. Please go check out that Discord server, be a part of the community, answer questions, help other students with their math. Whatever you can do to, whatever you can do to kind of be a part of the community is, I think is going to be helpful, or can be helpful for you. All right. That's a very interesting thing. I'm a proud advocate of Khan Academy too. I think Khan Academy has a lot of great content on there, a lot of practice and everything like that. All right. What am I trying to do? All right, last week's live stream. Sorry, I was supposed to have this prepared, but if you weren't on the beginning of my live stream, I had some definite serious issues with getting my live stream going, and I just had to just go for it. And that's exactly what I did. So, yeah, is what it is. Hence a lot of reasons why I didn't get to a lot of you guys' questions. So I do apologize for that. All right. So last week's live stream what was the title of last week's live stream? For those of you that are looking for it. Last week's live stream was how to find free tutoring. So just remember that one, how to find free tutoring. And I have the link. So let's go and get into, let's go into that. All right. I actually got to open up the tab. Thanks, Christy. Yes, that is correct. All right, you guys. Funny. How does Discord work? Well, if you've never been on Discord, it's basically like a chat room forum kind of idea. So there's different forums, which we call like channels, that you can go ahead and type in questions or have conversations with people and everything like that. So it's just like a big storage forum channel. Talk to you. SpongeBob, it is going on now. I'm just trying to get everything loaded up. So let's go ahead and do that. No. Okay, there we go. Awesome. Got that going. So I just got to change. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. Let's go and change into, there we go. Here it is. So again, guys, last second, go to last week's live stream, how to get free tutoring, go into the chat, type in hashtag math help down below. I'm putting it in right here. There you go. Okay. No, I don't have I don't talk about financial stuff. You are very welcome. All right, let's go check it out for some free tutoring. Anything goes. Let's do a keyword filter. And again, keyword filter, hashtag math help. All right, how many people we got? I only got 13 comments. So we had 2, 4, 8, 13. All right, guys, you ready? Here we go. Hassan, Musa, I saw you a lot on the chat. Congratulations. And actually, I think you added in, you might have been like 14 of those I think I saw on my comments. So congratulations. You are the winner. I'm going to probably change this up though now because I think you got like 5 different entries. But congratulations. No less, you played the system well. You are the winner, and please go ahead and reach out to me on Discord or on Instagram, and we will connect from there. So yeah, awesome. And again, guys, if you didn't win, I apologize. But don't worry, next week I'll be doing the exact same thing, issuing out a free set of tutoring. I might have to change it up though, as far as the hashtag, because I don't want people just to spam the comment section. So I'll let you guys know about that. And then, and yeah, if you guys have a question throughout the week, go ahead and check out the Discord. And we'll have some new videos coming out as well that I'm super excited for you guys to enjoy. And I hope you guys have a great week. All right, I am out. Peace out. Have a good week. Cheers.